over 30 years of collecting Lego and over 15 years collecting Lego as an adult and 2.5 years of having a YouTube channel, it is finally time. Time for what? Well, you can tell behind me, there are a lot of built Lego sets. And this room right here, this is where I build with Lego. This is where I work on some mocks. This is where I might build some interesting things that I want to experiment with in terms of Lego. And with all of those sets behind me, I can't do that. So yes, indeed, it is time for us to finally create an actual display for our Lego sets. So in this video, we are going to walk through what we got, why we made the decisions we made, and show you our first cut at our display piece. As you watch me assemble the bookshelves, I want to walk you through our thought process and pass along some tips. We're setting up our display in the basement behind our modular city. At this point, we have this large piece of white photography paper, which isn't a terrible look, but really makes the space feel cramped. We're also prepping for the new modular Natural History Museum, and I'm working on a custom modular slowly but surely. So we'll be doing more videos of our modular layout in the coming months. So make sure you subscribe, and that way you don't miss any of our updates. Before buying a bunch of bookshelves though, I wanted to look at my options. With our unfinished basement, we needed to avoid open back shelving. Also, cabinets might provide a clean look, but aren't ideal for, displaying Lego sets. I did see some options with cabinets at the bottom half and open shelving above, but decided that wasn't going to really work. So here's the first tip for anyone looking into setting up your Lego display. Consider the shelving depth. Lego base plates run about 10 inches square, meaning a 9-inch depth will leave most models protruding off the front of the shelf. The shelves we got are 11 inches deep, so they can fit some pretty large models. That said, if you have a bunch of massive sets like Rivendell, the Concorde, the Lionites Castle, Hogwarts, or many of the UCS Star Wars sets, think about width and depth before buying any shelving. You don't want to make your purchase and realize your key display pieces, your favorite sets, won't fit on the shelves. A second tip for you, compare prices and don't feel rushed to make a purchase. I started looking at shelves a while ago and monitored the prices from time to time. Not only does this help you set expectations when it comes to cost and allows you to budget, but then you can identify good deals when they arise. After looking at a bunch of options on websites like Wayfair, Target, Walmart, Amazon, Home Depot, and Lowe's, I ended up finding Billy shelves on sale from IKEA's website. Once I saw the sale price, I pounced on 4 of them, not literally of course, and because the closest IKEA is about 2.5 hours away, had them shipped here. I know Billy shelves are pretty common in the AFOL community, so we're not exactly being original, but there is a reason these shelves are so popular. And that leads me to a third tip. Buy shelves with the anticipation that your display will expand over time. If you buy a unique piece of shelving right now, it might be pretty hard to find it again in a few years when you're in need of more space. Trust me, after sorting Lego and storing them in different containers for over a decade now, not being able to standardize your shelving is going to annoy you. So going with a tried and true product that has longevity isn't a bad idea. With that, I'm done building the shelves, bringing Lego sets down and setting them up. So let's check in on Autumn and I for the reveal. All right, so we have this huge piece of photography paper behind this. We're going to cut this down. It used to be our backdrop for our modular city. We're going to cut it down and we'll show you all what this looks like. Ready? All right, let's take a look at this one shelf at a time. I put a lot of the big stuff toward the top and some of the more inconsequential things across the bottom. And you can tell we've got some of our backlog here, sets we haven't built, like the Galaxy Explorer, also one of the Chinese Lunar New Year sets, and some gifts with purchase. I have a bunch of instruction manuals down here that I'm not particularly excited about. Probably move those out somewhere. Moving along this right-hand shelf, I wanted this to be the pirate shelf, but it ended up being a little bit different because, well, I'll tell you why in just a moment, but we've got Central Perk down here. We've got a little custom gift with purchase build that Julia did and the original Guarded Inn. Moving up a shelf, we've got the two Eldorado Fortresses side by side. Not a huge difference in size, but of course one just weighs a ton more. That's this one here on the right, the new one, as opposed to the 1989 version. Moving up, we've got the original Black Seas Barracuda, one of my favorite sets of all time. I love that set, loved it as a kid. Got it for my birthday years ago, and I'm so glad that I did. And finally, on the top shelf, I went with the Ninjago City Docks. I think it's a great set. We might be able to add something else to that. I also put the temple part from the Ninjago City Gardens next to it as well, simply because, well, I couldn't really fit it with the Ninjago City Gardens. We'll get there in just a moment. Next shelf over, starting at the top, we've got one of my favorite sets of all time, the Lion Knights Castle. That's pretty sweet. I love how that looks there. This was going to be the castle shelf, and it worked out pretty good. We've got my custom build here, the Lion's Gate Castle. Unfortunately, the side towers wouldn't fit on the edges. I didn't quite have enough space, wasn't quite wide enough, and I put those down here on this next shelf over next to a custom laptop that Kiara built. Below the Lion's Gate Castle, we've got some other castle stuff, such as the original Black Falcon's Fortress, the new, or newer, because it's, I think, now retired, or going to be retired soon, the Blacksmith Shop, and then the free gift with purchase we got a couple of times with the Lion Knights Castle and some other stuff, the Forest Hideout. In fact, we've got another copy of that right down here in our backlog. Above our towers to the Lion's Gate Castle, we then have another incredible set, the Home Alone. And I took the back kitchen part off and put it next to it here alongside the treehouse and the van. And then above that, we've got the brand new Ninjago City Markets. And I gotta say, it's massive up here on the shelf. Might be a little hard to tell from that vantage point, but it looks pretty sweet. And then moving on to the final shelf, we've got Ninjago City and Ninjago City Gardens, but check it out, the Ninjago City Gardens is so tall that I had to actually take the top off and put it right down next to it right there. That's how big this thing is. In fact, when you take a look at it, zooming out, it fills up a huge, massive part. In fact, it's much taller than anything else we have on the shelves right there at the top, but I really wanted to make sure that we had it up there, and so in order to get them visible and stored on the shelves instead of taking up space somewhere else in our house, I had to remove that top. Below that, we have two custom builds. We have a customized version of the Botanical Gardens from the Friends line. This is 3 copies of it. It's actually 2.5, but we needed some of the pieces that are pretty tough to get and add it up. And then we've got a custom build of the old original Guarded Inn, so we'll do more with that video coming up soon, so stay tuned, a little teaser. And then below that, we've got the Pirates of Barracuda Bay, which I think is fantastic, but also really tall. I actually had to, again, reduce the size of it by taking the flag down a peg or two, so that way it fit there. And below that, we have kind of more open cubby with the buildable Harry Potter figures, Harry Potter, Hermione Granger. We also have a custom little river scene that I've put together just as trying to build some rock work and gain some experience there. Probably not going to be there very long at all. So that is our display, our custom display behind our modular city, and just kind of backing up, showing you how that all looks when it all comes together. I think it looks really cool, and I'm excited about this. I think it's fantastic, and I can't wait to add on to it and readjust things as we get more sets and build more custom builds. So there you have our brand new custom display. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did putting it together. Took some time, but I think it turned out great. Hey, before you head out, why don't you check out one of our other videos? Thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.